How about your children? In this section of the program, I want to make some introductions as we begin and tell you a little bit about the piece that you're about to hear and let you get to know some very important people that were part of this process. Before I start that, though, there's a page in your program that I want you to notice, and then I may mention it again later when we recognize our teachers and that sort of thing. But you see a page probably near the back portion of your program insert that talks about the Irving Arts Board and an organization called TACA. These two organizations are where the Irving Chorale and many arts groups in the Metroplex receive the principal amount of their funding, our funding. And I'm not sure that we always thank them enough. And I borrowed this idea from the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra, who received a very handsome grant also from TACA, and they put a notice in their last program asking people to write a letter of thank you to TACA. And we added to that the Irving Arts Board. So we have their title and their address, and these are people who make sacrificial kinds of gifts to make certain that the arts stay alive in the Metroplex. And so if you're inclined to write thank you notes, or if this might be a good time in your life to begin writing thank you notes, we'd like to encourage you to do that, because my general sense is they don't hear from all of us enough with words of thanks for the extraordinary work they do in sustaining the arts with money. And of course, that being said, when you know where your stamps are and you've got envelopes nearby, maybe you'd like to sustain the arts too. And you can send the Irving Chorale a little check as well. But please do write the thank you notes. The piece that we would like to sing for you now was commissioned by the Irving Chorale. As you know, I think this is our, Carol, you may have to help me, 7th or 8th year-ish to do this concert. Maybe I'm being too... 7th, we have an agreement on 7th, where we have children from 4th and 5th grade in the Irving ISD elementary schools join us as an elementary honors chorus. And we jumped in with some fabulous works that were scored particularly for children and adults, and often with orchestra. And then we soon realized, after a couple of years, we had presented all of those pieces that existed. And so we started asking other writers to help us with that. And I think this is the third one of these kind of works that we have commissioned. We decided some time ago that it seemed like every other day we were hearing about the subject of bullying and how it affected children and adults, but particularly children in their school lives. And so we wanted to make a choral response to that. And I called on some very wonderful colleagues of mine to help us with that. And so after many, many phone calls and many, many conversations and many, many edits, the piece finally came to life, and you will be hearing it for the first time any humans have ever heard it this very evening. It is indeed the world premiere of this work. And I want you to meet the creative team that put this piece together. First of all, if you would recognize David Schwabel of Richmond, Virginia, the composer. He's in the very back, waving to you. Our orchestrator Danny Wesley Ray, who is also somewhere in the back standing up. And our text writer, lyricist, Dr. Terry York from Baylor University. And Terry is going to come now and say a little word to you about his process and some of his thoughts in putting together this wonderful work. And then we'll sing for you, Sit in a Circle, a choral response to bullying. Dr. Terry York.
For your protection, I'm going to refer to notes. I say your protection because if I just started talking about what it's like to hear these children and the adult choir sing my words, I'd be here all evening. When I was invited to participate in this evening's project, about all I knew about bullying was that it was a bad thing. So I turned to my wife for help because she's a grade school counselor in the Waco area. She suggested some books for me to read and some articles for me to take a look at. And I discovered that I really had no idea that bullying was so widespread, stretching from pre-K classes to rest homes. I had no idea that bullying was so devastating, stretching from sadness to suicide and massacre. But we should not be surprised that bullying is so prevalent in our society because anger, fear, frustration, revenge, accusation, defensiveness, greed, violence, bravado, stalemate, self-centeredness, phobias of every sort. These have become characteristics of our culture. Bullying is very much at home on that sad list. We must find an alternate worldview. We must find alternative responses to life's issues and demands. Tonight, an alternative is explored as music plants in the hearts of children and adults. But in children, songs of a different way of seeing, a different way of being. We are not in front of or behind anyone. We are not below or above anyone. We are all in a great circle. This evening, we sit in that circle. Mr. Wooten, orchestra, choir, help us.